was your experience about mentorship and guidance that you received from us between 2020 and 2021?
Sir, regarding collaboration with you and Santosh sir, uh, first thing was in 2020 I started it because the process was very gradual and it was online. So what happened is the COVID lockdowns were there and I was in the jungles of Bastar in Chhattisgarh, so I could only access online. So at that time, weekly mocks were going on in Santosh's channel. So I accessed them and results were pending. So that gave me a good starting point about interview since that year was going to be my first interview. Then afterwards, when the result came, I was called for interview. In that, sir, I gave multiple mock interviews with Santosh sir so that I could gauge my progress gradually in months. So in that way, what happened is I think despite normal performance, I got decent marks in first interview, but I couldn't make it to the final list. But in the next very year, I again, when the interview call came for 2021 exam, I again contacted sir. And what happened is, since I was very familiar with environment, it was natural call for me. And again, it was online, and it's a free initiative. I would like to call it. So there's no compulsion even on the panel members to give feedback. Sometimes I've seen that when we join a coaching institute, which is paid, so they have a compulsion of giving feedback. So they gave a lot of feedback, which I found not very relevant. But here, what I found is the feedbacks are very organic and what happened is gradually since they gauged our progress it more connected with me at least. So in 2021 also I gave mock interviews for civil service as well as for forest service. And what happened is my progress was seen in forest service as well, wherein I got decent enough marks, 192 marks this time in personality test. So which made sure that I get a decent rank in forest service as well as in civil service. So my experience, sir, has been great. I found the panel members also very cordial. Sir Mathur sir has been always very supportive, and he has been very upfront regarding what he thinks we should talk about, and we should be honest and not just always say positive things about government. We should be constructively criticism is something that he focused on. And also Rao sir, wherein he used to catch us off guard multiple times. So that prepared me for sir, for forest interview. I faced something like that in Satyavati ma'am's board, wherein I was put under the target of I think the question was on climate refugees, and he kept on questioning her panel members regarding, is this boy saying the truth? He's from Kerala and he's from Odisha. You're giving examples from their state. So that is the time, since I had faced this situation here, I was confident enough and I did not change my stand. So twice she tried, but then she thought that, okay, she is not budging, so let's move on. So I think that benefited me in some way. So, sir, the experience has been very beneficial for me with collaboration with Santosh sir.
I remember you gave a very odd hobby for your as one of the hobbies. Was it cooking, if I remember you correctly?
No, sir, it was my hobbies included watching movies.
Watching movies.
Uh,
Okay.
Along with their economics was something that I was pulled upon on, and reality TV shows.
Reality TV shows. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir. Yes.
Did any of that appear in your final interview with the UPSC?
In civil service, sir, it was not asked, but in forest service, definitely regarding movie economics, things were asked. And regarding sir, reality TV shows in civil service, it was asked. So, which Santosh has already predicted that this is something that you would be asked upon. So, I was prepared.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hey, hi.
Okay. Okay. So you appeared for both the interviews, forest as well as civil services. How different were they from each other, in your opinion? I'm talking about the personality test of the UPSCs.
Hmm. Sir, what I found is in civil service interview, the questions were more diverse. Each member tried to focus on different area. For example, one member picked up my state. He asked upon my state. One member picked up my birth state. He asked upon that. One member asked upon international affairs. One member asked upon polity and related to judiciary. So they tried to cover a vast variety of questions. Whereas in forest service interview, sir, I noticed that questions were very predictable. In the sense that almost all the people who were taking this interview, they focused on environment, focused on forest management, forest laws, and any issues regarding forest and environment in current affairs. So they were more on predictable lines, I would say, sir. In that way, we could have differentiated both.
All right. Now tell me, in thinking about future, let us say as a police officer, since you are more inclined towards police, have you set up any goals to achieve as a police officer, like improving the police image or improving the policing more efficiently and more effectively? You see, police, has a problem with its reputation and its image. Have you given it a thought, or you are waiting for it? Let me first join and then I'll think about it.
Uh, Sir, my exposure to police has been very limited since I have been born and brought up in forest service background. But I would like to say that what my mind comes across is that we always look upon police as a force. We call it police force. So this term force is something I used to think upon that if I get into the service, I should focusing on removing this mindset of being in force. For example, anything that needs to be done, force is to be applied, coercion is to be done. So in that sense, sir, I would like to
Yes.
make it more accessible, first of all. Secondly, my idea would be to go as polite and as humane in approach regarding tackling any law and order situation or security situations as possible. So, sir, if in my limited knowledge, if I am to do that, I will be happy, sir.
No, no, we know that you have not joined and you'll face the reality when
Yes,
you
sir.
join. But anyway, thank you for your issue. But let me come to the aspirants. The aspirants are keen to know how you organize your preparations, like number of hours, your basic books which you read, the papers that you read, and how did you make the notes? These are three major issues which aspirants always ask us.
Uh, Sir, first of all, I would like to say that I've spent around good 5 years in this preparation. So I figure out many things by mistakes, which I should not have done when I look back upon. So first of all, first mistake was to focus on hours of studying. I used to focus on quantity of hours when I started this preparation, as in
Okay.
I have to sit 10 hours, 12 hours. But then I figured out I was only doing a mundane work of around 5 hours. But afterward, what happened is I started focusing on short-term goals. So that is the thing I would like to say, that please focus on quality, focus on the topics that you need to cover, focus on very short-term goals, probably 2 or 3 days, if not maybe weeks or months, so that you can very easily change your goals. And and sir, what I figured out is hours is not important. The goals are important. Even if we are studying 3 hours, we are having some work or some commitments. If you are able to do that, or if a goal is accomplished, then that is fine. Hours are not counted. So secondly, regarding books, I focused on standard books since I've spent good amount of time in the preparation, and I made notes from NCRTs, old NCRTs, some new NCRTs for history, basic books like Lakshmikant and everything that everyone knows. I made notes out of it. Apart from that, sir, I would like to say I always focused on making notes. I had this habit of not reading the book again and again because I figured out I could not revise the book. So I always went through the pain of writing notes, even if it felt like it was another book written by me. But what I figured out was that I am able to revise it with more conviction because I had put a lot of effort in making it. So what happened is I used to make multiple iterations of notes. First notes were bulky. Then towards the end of probably mains, I would have written probably fourth iteration of my notes, which I used to revise just in the meantime of mains exam. So that's how I always went with note strategy for GS as well as for optional.
Okay, that's a very exhaustive and a very detailed answer you're given. But there is still a matter regarding notes. Some people say, I will buy the notes and not read the textbooks. And there's the other view which you have given out, that you read the texts and also made your own notes. So what would you recommend to the aspirants?
Sir, I would like to say that I have referred to a lot of topper notes since I thought that we are fortunate to live in this era of internet. We have Telegram, we have WhatsApp. So I used Access Telegram to access multiple topper notes for my optional as well. Since geology was not my background and I had taken it an optional for both CSE and Forest Service. So I referred to multiple toppers notes. But what happened is by reading their notes, I could not recall whatever they had written since it was not written by me. So I
Correct.
realized that first I have to make a basic notes out of my own efforts. Then I do the value addition from their notes. In the sense, I myself write the things that are absent in my notes from their notes. So what I did
Right.
is I made a collage of various notes from various sources, but written by me. So in that way, sir, I would suggest that the aspirants, if you write notes, trust me, it will be very beneficial in mains because whatever you write is what you write in exam. So that's why.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I think this should help the aspirants to take a call between doing both the things, but doing them themselves,
Yes,
writing the notes again themselves.
yes.
Well, there is a, we'd like to know, I think you've spoken about a little bit, how matching was the UPSC civil services interview with what the mocks that we conducted? Although you have dwelt upon it a little earlier, but I'd like to know a little more in detail.
Uh, Sir, first is the mock interviews that I have taken here. They focused on current affairs exhaustively. And what happened is in UPSC also, they read multiple newspapers. This is their seasoned panelists. So naturally, they ask from current affairs from various sources. So the questions regarding international affairs were covered here. Regarding national education policy were multiple times asked by Sir Rao sir also. Regarding issues regarding women were asked. So, sir, these are the areas where the natural questions are expected. Secondly, sir, regarding the DAF that we had prepared, and the hobby section was specifically pointed out in this preparation. So I prepared them exhaustively. Uh, had I put the hobbies thinkingly or non-thinkingly, sometimes, sir, we make mistakes of putting hobbies which you don't understand. But even if we have put it, it's our duty to prepare it. So that's what Santosh had told us. So I kept on making notes on them exhaustively. Apart from that, sir, focusing on the issues of my own state and my birth state. I come from Chhattisgarh, so Naxalism was a natural issue that was asked to me and was pointed out also in this session. Apart from that, sir, issues regarding polity and judiciary and court cases that goes on where
Yes.
every time some new issue is pointed out or said by the Honorable Supreme Court. So that is something gets asked by the UPSC members since they are very intrigued by what Supreme Court does or says. So these are the areas that the mock interviews helped me in the actual interviews.
Okay. That's a
So,
very
sir,
nice to hear that. Very, very nice to hear that. Would you recommend our mock interviews to your friends and others?
Yes, sir, definitely. In fact, I have recommended to a lot of people in the past 2 years, and I've made them join also in the weekly mock interviews that are taken here. Uh, I've given them the reasons, and definitely I'll more recommend them.
Okay,
Mathu, sir,
thank you
can
so
I?
much.
Mathu,
Yes,
sir, can,
Santosh, you have any questions to ask?
no, I just want to recall him that I think reality shows. Harshit, if you remember, our question
Yes, sir.
was how real are the reality shows?
Yes,
If you
sir.
remember.
Yes, sir. And that was the
So,
exact question that was
That
asked,
was the
I think,
exact
by
question you
yes,
asked.
yes, sir.
so
They asked
there
it.
also they have asked the same question in the UPSC
Yes,
panel.
yes, sir. Sujata Mehta ma'am's board I got in the first interview, and she asked me the same question. Means, are
Okay.
they even real? Why do you watch them?
Exactly, sir. This was the question we have put to him. I think many times.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And in fact, sir, in many ways, Santosh sir also aligned me to the fact that we have to justify our hobbies. Since they would try to target our hobbies regarding they are not fruitful and they are a waste of time and things like that. But Santosh sir told me that you have to justify your hobby. So that I had already prepared. So when she asked, I said it, and she was like, he had already prepared. Let's move on to something else which he has not prepared. So that
Okay.
was it. And things went on.
Well, thank you so much, Santosh.